Hey guys, it's Donald, the solo RPG guy here. A long time ago, I was goofing off on YouTube, and I came across the Geek Gamers YouTube channel, and she had mentioned utilizing your game collection to help you with your solo RPGs. And I decided that I'm going to go through my game collection, and I have a pretty big game collection. I'm obviously not going to be able to showcase all the games that I have, but I figured we can take a trip together through some of these games and see how we can utilize them to help us with our solo RPGs. And in return, you guys can go ahead and comment in the video a game that you have and how you've used it to help you with your solo RPGs, and we'll basically help each other out, because obviously I'm going to have games that you don't have, and you're going to have games that I don't have, and we're all going to have games that no one else has, and we just might be able to help spur some creative, imaginative storytelling to add to our role-playing games. So let's start here with Runebound. Alright, first thing we pull out is the Hex Map. And if you look at the Hex Map real closely, you'll see, yes, it is indeed hexes. So if you're into doing like a hex crawl adventure, and you don't have a map, and you don't want to go through the random creation, although you can, you have a map here to explore. And you've got, you can decide that if they land at any of these certain particular points along the way that would be used for Runebound to draw a card, you can come up with your own solution. Or you can draw an actual Runebound card and just change the rules of the card to go with your solo RPG. Here is an example of two cards from the Runebound 3rd edition set. You'll see one says Blood Sister and the other says Chaos Lord. As you know, one of my favorite RPG systems is the Shadow of the Demon Lord. Well, this card here, the Blood Sister, screams I've come across a cultist type encounter, and the Chaos Lord indicates that I've come across a demonic type encounter. And then I can use that chart in the back of the Shadow of the Demon Lord book that will tell me whether or not it's a challenging encounter, a weak encounter, or kind of halfway mix encounter. And then utilizing the Shadow of the Demon Lord rules, I've now created for me basically a random encounter chart without having to write an actual chart. All I have to do is grab my Runebound deck of cards, give them a quick shuffle, and if I'm looking for a creature, keep drawing until I get a creature. Another thing that Runebound comes with is, of course, the quests. Now, besides, I've got the, I forget what it's called, but it's the expansion that takes Runebound and turns it into a, excuse me, into a solo game where you don't actually need both players. I forget what it's called. Unbreakable Bonds or something like that. Well, inside you've got, besides the two main quests where you deal with the dragon and the lich, you've got one where you're searching for a cure, you're fighting the horde, or the dread champion, or Vorkash, I forget which, the Corpse King, the giant spider. You can take these quests here and use those as quest seeds for your solo RPG. Obviously, any or all of those would go great in any campaign. Forbidden Lands, and of course Shadow of the Demon Lord, that would just fit perfectly. Here's another game I have in my collection. I also have the original Mistfall, and inside that game, in addition to all the cards that you can flip for random magic item creation, you also got things, you got the events that you play during the game, like in this one, Burning Longhouse. So if I was to pull this card during some type of traveling, I've come across a house that is burning. and then I can use my oracle or whatever else I have at my disposal to determine, is there people in here? Do we want to save anything in the longhouse? Or is it just a cold night and our characters are going to sit there and toast marshmallows by the fire? Night prowlers. This one talks about, if there's no thief in play, fine, but you can pull a random thief and you have a thief or some other type of night creature prowling on you. So now you have a night encounter that you have to deal with. And then, of course, like I said, you can grab the magic item cards, give them a shuffle, and see what type of magic item you may have come across. But yeah, that's one way of cannibalizing this game. It also comes with these great location cards that you can use. So let's say you're traveling and you just want to pick, a random place. Again, quick shuffle. Oh, we found an inn. Maybe that might indicate, is it a roadside inn? Did we come across a small village? Did we find a city that we didn't know about? All you got to do is, consult your oracle, ask a few questions, and go from there. Or like another one here, which I just saw that I was goofing around with when I looked. Oh, Tower of the Wilds. We've come out, we're in the wildlands. We've come across this tower. And when you read the card, it says, when this location is the active location, all ranged enemies deal +1 melee or +1 magic. That you can easily convert to possibly giving the enemy a bonus. In Shadow of the Demon Lord, all creatures get an extra boon to their attack. In 3rd edition, they automatically get a +1 or a +2 to attack. Maybe this is some type of, these guys are protecting their homeland, so the morale is higher, kind of thing. You can play it that way. Again, just read the card and convert it to your game system. Here's another little gem I forgot all about that I even had. Again, more cardboard. So, yeah, more cardboard crack. But Dungeoneer, Tomb of the Lich Lord, and I have another one, I forget which one it is, Vault of the Fiends or something. But if I'm in a dungeon type scenario, I've got these location cards. So instead of just coming across a room, the room actually has a purpose. I've come across a library, a troll bridge, a throne, a crypt, lair of the tentacle beast. One thing I did with another game is I took a bunch of location cards and I would shuffle them up and I would say to myself, the crypt is the objective. Whatever it is I'm looking for, the person, the magic item, whatever that, quest item is, it's going to be found in this crypt. So I can just give the cards a shuffle, decide how big of a dungeon I want by how many cards I use, draw a card, and I've come across the Throne of Tyranny. Again, just convert that to your game system. What would that make you think of? Is it, did you come across the bad guy's throne room? Or is it a magic throne? Or anything like that. Again, it's your game, and it's limited only by your imagination. In my last video, I did a unboxing of Legends Untold. Well, what was inside there? One thing was location cards. What I can do, whether I'm drawing on hexagon paper or graph paper, freehand or whatever, typically I use graph paper or hex paper. I've got a generic dungeon here, so I know I got one way in, one way out, and then there's a door here that leads to a room. So that's a simple thing to draw as far as a random dungeon. I can also use this as a guide. I've got sort of a barrier there, or forget what that is, an obstacle, barrier, and maybe an idea, okay, maybe I might want to see what that random thing is and what the loot is. And this one I've got, the way I come in, 1, 2 ways out, in this big area, and maybe there's something hidden. Oh, I got it upside down. And maybe I got something hidden over here. It also, with all those barriers and whatnot, it also has lots of traps. So, bolt fire. The game also comes with, well, a bunch of scenarios and episodes. Here you can find story ideas for your campaign. Maybe you're going into the dungeon to find some missing adventurers, or recover hostages, or you have to appease the spirits somehow, or find the missing sacks. You actually now have story components that, combined with your oracle, will help give you the better narrative for your story if you're one of those people that need a narrative for your story. In Shadow the Demon Lord, I can determine how difficult of the trap it is, give it a appropriate bonus, roll the attack, and see if the trap actually hits one of my guys. Sewer adder. Oh, we opened up a chest or whatever, and there's a snake inside there, and he gets, a surprise attack. Fire trap. Make an agility check or take appropriate fire damage. And again, utilizing the charts or whatever that are in the book, or whatever game system you're using, you can use that chart there to determine the difficulty level of the trap. Or, already put in your head, okay, the next trap I come across will be a DC 15 and does 3d6 damage. Or again, you can make up your own little chart. Me, I don't like writing out a lot of charts. I'd rather just utilize the cards. I mean, I spent this money on the games anyway, and I like all the games that I have in one way, shape, or form, and I have played all the games that I have as the games themselves. But then I sit there and go, for solo RPG, this comes in real handy. Glyph door. My guys have to make that saving throw or take the damage, like a glyph of warding in D&D. Or Shadow the Demon Lord, be an agility check or whatever. Same difference. And of course, good old Descent. Well, I'm not going to crack open the box there, but you can pretty much guess 1,000 different ways you can use a game like Descent. You've got the map tiles, you've got miniatures, you've got the quest book, you've got more cardboard, and although the game itself fell apart, I also have parts from the first Descent. As you can see, more cardboard for me to go through for random treasures, random monsters, random magic items, random whatever. And as you can see here, more cardboard. Adventuria, the adventure card game. I currently have the base game as well as all of the expansions. And if you look far and wide, you might be able to come across this old game. Now, the game itself is pretty good. Unfortunately, A, it is hard to find, and B, the rules aren't written very well, but a trip to Board Game Geek, you can download the fan-made upgraded rules there. They are real good. But one good thing about Tomb that I like, matter of fact, there's the upgraded rules there, but it came with a ton, as you can see, they're even falling out of the bag here, of these characters that you use to play the game. This just literally became, for me, a quick NPC generator. All I got to do is, I came across a random NPC. I've come across, let's see if I can get it in focus here, Garroth Drak. And here we have the expansion standalone game called Cryptmaster. If you're out there trying to find this game, I would highly recommend Cryptmaster over the original game. The rules were better written and whatnot. And as I was sitting here making this video, I actually came up with an idea for the current campaign I'm running right now for my Shadow the Demon Lord, guys. And let me just go ahead and get some of these cards together, and I will show you what I mean. Oh, come on, I just need one more curse card. There we go. Nope, that's a spell. I don't want a spell. I want a curse. I know that sounds bad. I want a curse. Oh! There we go. Alright. In my current Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign, my characters are in a maze of crypts built by the Order of Light, where they interre their dead. And one of the dead guys is buried with his magic sword, which apparently is good versus demons. So what I was thinking about doing was I would get to what I would call a the special room, the quest room, what do you want to call it? Let's say the quest area. I would roll a d6, and that would tell me how many crypts are in there. Then what I would do is I would go I can grab some of these cards here. For each crypt, I'll take a monster card. Let's say I rolled 4. I'll take 4 monster cards. I will take 2 curse cards. And then I will take this card here, which represents the sword. And what I would do is, as I'm in the room and I examine the crypts, just give the cards a good shuffle, and then draw one when my characters investigate the crypt. Now, oh, wow, in this case, we found the magic sword first room. Alright, great. But, what if we drew a curse card instead? Well, for Shadow the Demon Lord, I would just have a curse spell affect them. And if I drew one of these random monsters, the random monster literally means nothing. The crypt is empty other than the dead body. But you'll notice that I said I rolled a 4 on the d6. I've got 4 monster cards, 2 curse cards, and 1 card to represent the sword I'm looking for. Well, if I don't get that sword, then that would prompt my characters to say they have to go further, deeper in the dungeon. Or, after so many attempts of trying to find this sword, if they don't come across it, then it can be determined that the information that they were given was false, and that means they got to go back to town, reinvestigate, so grab that oracle, and get to work. Of course, the party would have to survive the trip from the crypts back to the city. But I literally just came up with that idea as I was making this video. I'm like, huh. And of course, not to mention, for a game like Shadow the Demon Lord, skeletons, Atho Yaskar, who looks like part horse, part deer, part crab, part I don't know what. That would make an interesting looking demon to make the fight. Not to mention a good old barrow worm. Or Mr. Chegar's Bane. He looks pretty nasty. For a game like Shadow the Demon Lord. Just utilizing this card as an example. He's got, some attack and some skill. So maybe he's got some fighter skills and some thief skills. For him, probably add the templates are in the back of the Shadow Demon Lord. Make a basic demon, add the templates for a decent level fighter and a mid to low level thief. Make sure the difficulty level is somewhere close in range of my characters, so my characters don't die round 1. And boom, I have myself an interesting fight there. But yeah, go through your game collection and just figure out ways that you can use your game collection to add to your role-playing experience. A lot of people, I got no way of doing it. Dude, if you got any games sitting around your house of any way, shape, or form, you've got material to work with. I don't own any of them, but all those Dungeons Dragons board games, the Castle Ravenloft, the Wrath of Ashardalon, those games. If you don't like the actual game itself after you've bought it and played it a while, there's your material right there for a campaign for your D&D game, or your Shadow of the Demon Lord game, or your Tunnels and Trolls game, or whatever RPG system you're using. So just be a little creative, go through your game collection, and see how that will help you with your role-playing game solo experience. Like I said, if you have suggestions as to games and what to do with them, put them down in the comments so other people can see them, and let's just share ideas. And until my next video, which I will give you a little forewarning spoiler here, it's going to be a Kickstarter, a solo fantasy game. I happened to bump across it by accident. I reached out to the developer of the game, and he is going to send me a prototype copy, and I will showcase that probably on my next video. All right, you guys, happy gaming. Is a cleric, and then now obviously these stats don't mean anything unless you're actually playing the Tomb game, but it kind of gives me an idea here of maybe his power level. In this case, maybe if I'm playing D&D, a second level cleric, first level fighter, or a second level cleric, first level thief, or maybe he's a first level cleric, first level fighter. Depending on your game system, of course, you'll have to adjust this accordingly. And then draw from the Game Master Assistant cards the personality, or roll on your personality chart, whatever you do, and boom, instant NPC.